Hey there. We're going to talk a little bit about the putter that I just switched to and about what I used to putt and then some stuff I do to practice putting. Yeah. So if you've followed the channel at all for a little while, I don't change my putters very often. And in fact, I've changed my putters more in the last probably 2 to 3 years, maybe not that much, maybe 2 years than I have ever. I can tell you, once I started buying putters, I can tell you the putters I've putted with. Prodigy PA3, as seen here, the Marshall, and the Link. That's all I've ever putted, and every single one of them look just like this. Pretty blunt nose, small bead right there, and extremely flat topped, even sometimes puddle topped. Sorry, this light is crazy bright right here. That's always been the putter preference of mine. I've putted PA3s probably longer than I did anything else. They don't have a ton of glide. The last putter I went to was a Link, which felt just like a PA3 but had a little bit more glide. That was the only reason I switched. Coming to the Tui from RPM Discs. This is a 3.4 -1.5. I will go on the record for sure, 100%. This is the most understable putter I have ever putted with in my disc golf career. Period. Never have putted with understable stuff. I've putted neutral to slightly stable stuff, generally on hyzer. That's just always been the type of putt I had. So I never really wanted to get past that. I wasn't planning on switching putters, to be honest. But start of season, I was having some stuff go on where I was putting and everything felt forced and I was yanking putts a lot. And I was like, you know what? I've got a couple of just hard Tuis. One like this. In fact, this is a Strata, so it's the hardest plastic basically you're going to get. And that's always been a criteria for me. Has to be a soft plastic. So Magma Soft, finally got some. This is 300. I was putting 300 softs when I quit putting Prodigy PA3s. But I took those out for a day and just messed around a little bit. And I started realizing, I was like, I didn't like the feel in hand because they were so stiff and it is cold. But I just had to putt at the basket and they just went right at the basket. Even on a slight hyzer. Didn't have to putt hard and they putt far. So I was sitting there and I was hitting a lot of putts pretty effortlessly. You know, I was like, you know what, I'm going to put them in the bag for a minute and just test them out. And I did. And I was making some good putts. Now, I've never been one to switch putters because I'm not putting correctly. But this was just kind of an opportunity for me to try something out. And I have gotten myself past the feel in hand. So side by side, you'll notice the Tui is a little bit sharper, probably a little bit faster. I don't know what the speed of a PA3 or a Link is, but I'm going to assume they're probably like a 2-speed. I could be wrong, but these are narrower right here, so it's a different feel in hand. Still beaded, but different feel. But it has changed my putt up, and I have seen here lately, I don't want to jinx it, but I have been making more putts and more long putts than I was previously, and I think it's because I can putt just comfortably, not having to force a hard putt and rely on it to glide and go into the basket instead of me having to really push a putt out. That's why I think I can putt so far now, is because I putted PA3 so long that they don't have a lot of glide, that I got really good at putting them from outside circle, like in an almost outside circle 2 usually, that now glidey putters go far. So Magma Soft Tui. see if I can make a couple from right here. Second one was a make, but it's a marksman basket, so that should have stuck on a regular basket. Let's get into a little bit of putting routines. So something for me that I do anytime I am actually practicing putting is I will putt my stagger stance. So my most comfortable putt is going to be a stagger stance. It's a push at the basket like this. Some people go straight straddle and it's more like a squat and a push at the basket. I practice both. Not everybody does that, but I do that because a lot of the courses I play, I know at some point in time are going to require me to do a straddle putt. I'm going to have to straddle out from a tree, or if I'm putting way uphill, stagger stance doesn't work for me very good uphill because I hit my hips a lot. I don't know if it's because I'm not like crazy tall. I'm only 5'10", so whenever I pull down, I tend to hit my hip with the disc. So whenever I go straddle, I don't hit anything and I feel more comfortable. So I'll go 15 footers for a while. And I'll give you this advice: if you are missing a lot of 15 footers, 20 footers, there's not really a need for you to practice 30 footers. Call it a hot take. If you're not making all those or a very high percentage of them, there's no business in practicing the long ones. Just pointless. So a couple straddle. And my stroke does not change on the upper part of my body for a straddle or a stagger stance putt. In fact, if my putt is feeling weird, like I feel like I'm early releasing putts or something in my stagger, I will go straddle and then I will putt and see if I'm making putts and everything's going that way, because then I can gauge and I'll know, okay, I'm making putts on a straddle, my lower body's the problem. It means probably my legs are out of timing, or I'm not getting the timing down with my lower body to my upper body. So that is a way for me, I don't know if it's going to work for everybody, but that's a way for me to gauge if something's wrong somewhere. If I'm yanking putts in a straddle, that means I'm not putting correctly up top anyway. So then I need to focus on that. But generally, if I go back, it's usually a timing issue with my legs or something. So I'll go after I do those, and then I'll do a few stagger stance putts, and then I'll just putt out. And I mean, I'll play games. Sometimes I'll do, I have one game that I like doing. I've got Jimmy to do it with me before, and it's you mark 15, 20, 25, 30, and then a 32 footer, 33, whatever you want to call, circles edge putt. You take two putters. Every station you get two putts. So say this is probably maybe 15 feet. Let's see. Perfect. I missed that. So you get two putts at 15 feet. You make one, you miss one, you stay there. Now, if you miss both, you just stay at 15 feet. But if you make both, you move to 20 feet. If you miss one of those, make one, you stay. If you make both, you move to 25. If you miss both, you go back to 15. And what tends to end up happening is that you work a lot on a distance that you're not good or consistent at. So you're knocking 15, 20 footers all day. 25 foot is a problem area. What'll happen is you might make one 25 footer, miss one 25 footer, miss both 25 footers, then you hit two 20 footers and you're back and you putt and make one 25 footer, miss one 25 footer. You do that over and over again, you're grinding an area that's a problem at the same time as you're playing a game. And sometimes I'll do that for putting practice whenever the weather's better. I don't do it a whole lot right now because I have to putt in the basement. But besides the point, I'll do that for putting practice, and I'll put a timer on it, and I'll be like, you either do this for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever, an hour if you want to do it, or until you beat the game. And the way you beat the game is you go to 35 feet without going forward. Did I say 35? 32, 33 feet, whatever, circle's edge. And you make both putts without having to come back. Like, you get all the way there and make both putts, and that's completing the game. Then you can play it again if you want. I have done it before where I've went to as far back as I can. So I've went to, like, I think I've done 40 feet or 45 feet before in the game and won, not doing a time limit, and actually made both of the putts. But I mean, that's whenever I'm on with my putting routine and getting consistent. But that's a way to putt and take your brain out of it, is do it as a game. And like I said, you start working on very big problem areas, and say you get lucky or you just get on and you knock the game out in 5 minutes, do it again, because I've done that before. I mean, sometimes you just feel your putt, you go 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, and all of a sudden you're at third circle's edge and you by chance hit them both. So it's like a little pressure putt game. I like it. And you can do it with your friends. Me and Jimmy's done it before. You get 2 putts. If you make both of your putts, you keep on going until you miss, and then it's the other person's turn. So you can kind of flip-flop back and forth. So just like I've told one of my buddies before, I've told a lot of people this. It's not anything new. It's not like I created this idea. Putting is super mental. So I say putting is like 80% mental, but it's also 80% skill. Doesn't add up? Well, that's because you can't add up how that works. It just doesn't. To be a really good putter, you've got to be practiced and skilled, but you also have to have a strong mental game. So it's got to be equal, kind of, to me. Like, you've got to have a very good mental game and confidence. That's why we see the best putters in the world have really bad putting days. Yeah, they're extremely skilled and they make 45 footers look like they're 10 footers. But once you miss a few putts and you start losing confidence, you start seeing them hitting cage, missing putts and stuff. That's the mental part of the game. And the reason they're so good is because they do practice all the time and they're highly skilled. But at the same time, they have a strong mental game. And when you see that break is whenever you see the breakdown of the skill. So always walk up to your putt with confidence. And if you don't have confidence in it, the best decision sometimes is to just put yourself closer instead of giving yourself the same putt on the other side of the basket. That's just how it is. Sometimes the best way to lower your score is to not try to score. If you're wanting to get to 900 or maybe even 910, 915 rated, probably just be okay with taking pars and get a birdie when it comes. Because if you turn a birdie look from 32 feet into a bogey, that could have easily been remedied by you putting it 3 inches away from the pole with a layup putt. Hard to do, hard to lay up, but I've seen very bad things happen before when people don't lay up. And the last thing I'll say that is very important to my putt, and I have to make myself remember it a lot of times when I've not practiced a lot, is extension and not jabbing your putt. That's very inconsistent with release. Whenever you jab a putt, sometimes you'll yank them and stuff. It's just like throwing, following through, extending towards the target and hitting in the middle. I saw a video of Philo Brathwaite one time. I've told people this before. Keep it inside your frame. So that's meaning you don't want your putt to start here. I'm going to see if I can line up with the video. You don't want to start from the middle of your body and pull out side of your shoulders. All that's going to do is yank it. There's going to be a yank. So for me, my ideal pull is low and then somewhere in the middle of my shoulders. You don't want out here. You want right out that way. If I'm showing somebody how to putt, if they're missing right all the time, that's what I try to tell them, is extend forward and at the basket to be direct. Might be different for some other people, but if you yank right a lot, that could be a problem. But I don't know, maybe this video is helpful or not. I just wanted to film something, and it was raining today and it's kind of chilly, so I was not going outside. And I just wanted to share with you why I changed putters. If you're interested, you might want to try out a Tui. They're really good throwers. Golly, it's so blown out. There we go. They're really good throwing putters. They're understable, but they are very smooth putting and very glidey. So if you like a glidey putter, you might want to give it a try. It is beaded, so you have to like beaded putters. So there we go. Go try out some RPM discs if you feel like it. If not, that's whatever, but still, I like them. They pretty cool. There we are, working our way up. Oh, by the way, RPM does have a couple new things coming out here soon. Just saying. Maybe I'll be able to show you in video. Alright, that's all I got. Tease is over. Till next time. Peace.